And it's not just Google and technology companies and the banks that are manipulating you. Of course, the political parties are doing this big time. Look at this article from Oliver Stone. He says, Obama's lack of spine is stunning. He says something happened because none of the things he promised, transparency, a government that would reconsider the war on terror and these programs, none of that happened, none of it. He's got a lack of spine and he's a weak man. Or maybe he's just a liar who is no different than the Republicans. They've all got the same agenda. They're just manipulating people with it. He never believed any of those promises. And as Alex pointed out, just because he's a constitutional professor doesn't mean he's going to uphold the Constitution. It just means he's more dangerous when he knows how to take it down. Now, we saw further evidence of this on Fox News. Pike Cadell said the GOP establishment wants the IRS to go after the Tea Party. And this was on Fox News. 2 Democrats, 1 Republican, and they all agreed that the majority of everyone, including Democrats, sees this as a corruption issue. And yet, they all agreed that the Republicans don't want to do anything about it. It's simply posturing because they're threatened by the Tea Party. He made it very clear. He said they're protecting the lobbying consulting class. They are preserving privileges and arrangements that benefit their people over the interests of the country. That's very true. And of course, the Republican there said, these are things that are far worse than what took down Nixon. That's what we've been saying all along. And yet, the phony Republicans who are in charge, people like Mitch McConnell, John McCain, and others are doing nothing about that. And of course, the blackmailed Congress is also sitting on any NSA reforms. That has been passed by 20 senators who've signed onto the bill. Not passed, but 20 senators have signed onto the bill in the Senate and 120 in the House. And yet, both in the House and in the Senate, the leaders are sitting on these bills and not letting them come out. They are not interested in any reforms of the NSA. We also see that Ted Cruz made it very clear that these guys are putting on a phony facade about controlling government. Yet look at the way Bloomberg spins this. They say the Cruz Senate stunt goes unpunished as old tools don't work. No, actually the old tools would be people like John McCain and McConnell. Those old tools are working very well for the system. But Ted Cruz exposed what those old tools were about. He insisted on an up or down 60 vote majority, not just a simple 50 vote majority. If they'd gone with 50 votes, the Republicans could have hit out and they could have said, well, we don't really like this. They could have told their constituents that they didn't approve of it while they merely sat by and let this happen. But when he put it up to 60, they really wanted this to pass. They really wanted to put us into more debt and what they call a clean bill. That means there's no conditions whatsoever attached to it, nothing to constrain spending, nothing to constrain the government in any way whatsoever, just raise the debt ceiling. That's what the Republicans call a clean bill. And so Ted Cruz wanted to point out their hypocrisy on it. He forced a vote. And so they're very mad that he's exposed the real agenda of McCain and McConnell and many others who are simply Republican in name only or conservative in name only or limited government in name only. Take your pick.
The globalists have controlled the mainstream media for a long time, but now they're expanding, making the weaponization even more vicious and deceptive. All the major networks are state-run.
We are partnering this year with the NFL.
The NFL has become a political weapon against the Second Amendment and pushes Obamacare. MSNBC tells us that our children belong to the state.
We have to break through our kind of private idea that kids belong to their parents or kids belong to their families and recognize that kids belong to whole communities.
The brainwashing media machine has been turned up on high, and it's time for humanity to double down on the true people's media and strike back against the tyrants that are destroying our civilization with their lies and fraud. We are the resistance. You are the resistance. You are the info war. It is more important than ever to realize that we are not the alternative media. We are the true media. The establishment dinosaur press is dying.
We are in an information war, and we are losing that war.
Join us at InfoWarsNews.com and PrisonPlanet.tv. Members can share their memberships with up to 11 people. By subscribing, you will literally be buying war bonds in the info war to expand our operation in the face of the tyrants. Join us at PrisonPlanet.tv.